righteousness. Then taught him the eloquent use of his tongue. With it, man remembers him, Allah, and praises him. And with it, recites his words from the Quran. I witness that there is nothing worthy of worship except Allah. Not one from mankind can number his favors. And I witness that our leader Muhammad, may the prayers and peace of Allah be upon him, is his servant and messenger who warned us of the slip of the tongue and obscene words. O Allah, send prayers and peace upon our leader Muhammad and upon his family and his companions who soften their voice with the remembrance of Allah and purify their tongues with supplication and glorification. They are those who are companions of the paradise. They will be in it forever. أما بعد فيا عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي أولا بتقوى الله تعالى وطاعته. What follows thereafter, O servants of Allah, I advise you as well as I advise myself to first have regard, taqwa for Allah Most High, and obey Him. Once again, I greet you, my dear believers, with the peace and blessings of Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Well, just in some of you all did, feel the need to get up and shake a leg a little longer. Because I was, that's why I was saying I was okay with the longer break. But we're here. So I am most appreciative always to my Houston family for inviting me out to participate. I'm actually usually very much, I call myself the great equalizer. So oftentimes when we're running in time like this and someone runs over, and I will say, you can't cut off the ruh. Okay? So when the spirit hits someone, you got to let the spirit go until the spirit has subsided. And I'm going to tell you, so believe it or not, our dear Imam Wazir Ali helped me with that one time. So he was in Little Rock, Arkansas. He actually, I would venture to say he probably never saw me when I was trying to get him to hurry up at something. And if he did, he was really good at ignoring me. But it helped me, right? Because I always remembered it. So he was at the Southwest Section Conference, and they had asked him to say a little bit, and he gave it actually very briefly, succinctly, very powerful. The Imam's position of the Imam's tafsir on the positions of the Salat and the rise and the fall of the human being, we were running so close on time, I was in the back telling them to hurry up. It's like, hurry up, man, come on, speed up the explanation. That did not, Wazir was still, he still was fully explaining, going through everything. I just sat down, I was like, I don't know, I was like, in traffic that's not coming. But after that, it always registered for me a lot. So after that fact, I said to myself, who are we? Sometimes, and I say sometimes, right? But, because of course there's always time, but many times what the case is what it should be. I mean, really not many times, all the time. What it is what it should be. How it is how it should be. So, I was back there, I was like, I'm good. That's like all of 6:30. So, and believe it or not, much of what Imam Yahya Abdullah discussed was in my presentation. So I'm thinking to myself, I think you gave him the ruh that you were going to give me. So that means I can condense what I do. So that's why I say I'm usually the great equalizer, because I have been known. If once all the information is done, it's done. There's no need to go over something. But Allah is the best of knowers. They said an hour, but I'll probably go a little shorter than that. So that way, our dear Imam Fahim Shoaib, when the ruh hits him... Tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow. Okay. Okay, no. Okay, so when the ruh hits Wazir, then he can go as long as he needs to, inshallah. But there is something... that was on me when I got the topic, and really I think after I began to think and various things that I go to. Some people say you should tailor your talk, and all of the 5 places you go to in a row, you just kind of tweak it a little bit for them. But for some reason, I feel the need, no, I can't do that, I have to give them something else. But there is something that as we go through the community and traveling and looking around, my sentiment is always to look for those things that we really, really need to work on improvement for, so we can move our community forward. That's always in my scope of thinking, and anything that I'm doing, that's what I'm trying to tap into, is to see where it is that we are not hitting the mark, why we're not hitting the mark, and then what is it that's going to make us hit that mark. And the title of my workshop today is A World of Pairs, Quran's Social Structure for Community Life and Leadership. And it comes on the heels of a particular lecture that I listened of Imam WD Muhammad's on YouTube that he did. And I'm not going to give his lecture topic quite yet, because I want to set something up. So in the Quran, in Surah 51:49, it says, وَمِن كُلِّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقْنَا زَوْجَيْنِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَذَكَّرُونَ. He says, and of everything, وَمِن كُلِّ شَيْءٍ, we have created pairs that you may be mindful. تَذَكَّرُونَ. And there in the Quran, that there are actually, you have to excuse me, I'm really, I'm talking a lot. But the ayahs of Quran that Allah says that are fundamental, the Kitab of the book, the mother of the book, that they really are very, very simple. And in my last few lectures, because I've gone into lectures and I've looked at it and, using the Imam's tafsir and really thinking on it, given a lot of symbolism and things. And recently I've worked, because sometimes you can hit people with so much that you really, by the end, you're not taking anything in. Well, guess what? You guys have been here all day. Okay? So that means, and I saw where I was, right? That means we don't want too much heavy lifting tonight, because it wouldn't work. So I really have been seeking to go to those things that are in Quran that are very, very basic and fundamental, that everyone, when you see them, you hear them, you know them. But the other thing of the basic and fundamental is that sometimes you think it's so basic that you actually pass the full meaning of the thing. There's more there. There's always more there. So even once we get this basic and fundamental meaning, that if you really, really think on it, if you really, really sit and ponder, Allah will give you another wisdom that transcends the simple thing that you thought you had before. So this idea of that Allah has created everything, وَمِن كُلِّ شَيْءٍ, okay? Kulli shay is everything. That means that there is nothing that is created that does not have a pair. Nothing. That actually, it lends itself to a different structure for society if you really, really start to look at it. That means that there is nothing that doesn't have a mate, a pair, something that is going with it. And when I look at that idea, and everywhere I look in Quran, right, I see these ideas of masculine and feminine, and I'm seeing everywhere I look in society. Sometimes I feel like the little computer eyes that have all those blue lines on them, right, and I see ones and zeros everywhere. And I'm looking and I'm like, wow, these things are coming together in a fashion in order for us to move forward. This is what they're doing. All of the pairs, every single thing is paired, everything. So when I thought about this reality and I look at us, and I went, of course, to Imam Muhammad's tafsir, and he said that the human being, he said he has designed it, Allah has designed it to operate in the pattern of pairs. He said the pattern of twos and the pattern of pair. Wherever there are effects, there are causes for those effects. Wherever there are problems, there are solutions for those problems. Said God has not given us imbalance in life, and God has not given us a severed or truncated life or a lamed life in any part of it. God has given us a whole and complete life. And whenever we find one thing operating in a diseased way or in a problem way, we will also find the help for that thing if we look close enough. There is help for us. No matter what the problem is, there is always help for us. He said, I'm speaking now of the problem that we seem to have in a comfortable state of mind for ourselves. Even in the presentation when Allah initially, in Al-Fatiha, which Imam Yahya so easily gave to us, that it's the first victory. That inside of that first victory, when Allah presents Himself to us, and we say, Alhamdulillah, right, at this point, all of this praise is for Allah. Then Allah comes and He gives us His mercy. And even in His mercy, He gives it to us in a pair, right, in a duality. And when we look at this duality of Allah's two mercies, I'm going to read again here from Imam's tafsir. Well, first, we know what the two mercies are, right? So we have what's the first mercy? Ar-Rahman, and that's representative of what? Of what? The merciful benefactor. But inside of that, this is the mercy that you receive just off of the nature of your creation. This is the natural life. You by your very creation, it's a mercy. Okay, your original nature, that's a mercy for you. That original creation is a mercy for you. But just your existence, your natural existence is Allah's first mercy of Rahman in who you are and in your essence, what you've been created to be. Then Allah comes back and gives us the second mercy, which is what? Ar-Rahim. And that's the what type of mercy? Redeeming, right? This is the redeeming mercy, okay? So this is, if we can understand the two mercies being, looking at them at the evolution of the human being, is that you have a mercy in your base being. And then in your elevated being, you have another mercy. Because here you're at the base, that's your first mercy. Your second mercy is when you are traveling through the process of going to Allah and He redeems you and elevates you. Because it's in the redemption that He elevates you. You don't become elevated because you are so great. You know, that things get so big, you get elevated. That if everything is in duality, the only way for you to be elevated is for you to have been low. That's the only way, okay? The only way for you to be able to see elevation is for you to have been a despicable thing, needing and requiring elevation. So there was a mercy in Him creating you and giving you this outstanding nature. And then in your progression to Him, He elevates you, and that's your second mercy, right? Once again, in this pair. So I'm going to read here. He says, Cain and Abel, the natural creation of man, and then the creation of man by God's revelation, creates him anew. Okay. So Cain and Abel's that original nature. The creation by a revelation is the new. He said he sees the whole universe in a new light. He sees His purpose on earth in a new light. That is the second purpose, the second gift of His mercy. And it is from the social relationship, the social ties, that is what bursts man's consciousness to reform his life. Social life, pressured by the material life, demands are from the material side, from Cain. Cain's demands on us and his trouble he gives us eventually makes us appreciate the social life, and then we establish a social life and have the social life as the sacred life, and the material life supports